Rich Bontrager back with you. We are streaming live on multiple channels on this 9/11. We are remembering, of course, the tragic events of 9/11 here in the United States already 22 years ago. But it did impact the world and it did make a major impact everywhere. And today, that is on many hearts and minds. But today, we are going international. We are going around the world today. And we are going to pick up with Johnen. Now, Krister is a former CEO. He ran companies. He had at one point 30 different offices, or he had 30 different continents covered or countries covered. We'll get it right here. And he also now has turned to mentorship and coaching. He has a passion for helping other leaders, influencers to grow their brand, grow their influence. And he also loves to travel the world. He is an explorer, an adventurer, and live from his yacht someplace out in the great world, Krister Johnen.
Hi, great to be here, and thanks for the intro about 9/11. I still remember that. I still remember I was first time in New York. That was about a few months before 9/11, and I looked at the Twin Towers. Then a few months later, going back again. It's still painful in the heart to think about that. So
I was going to ask you where you were. So you were there just months before it all happened.
So that was when I started my international career, but I was there in January, at the beginning of the year it happened, and we were supposed to go up to World Trade Center, but there was so long queue, so I just stand there, looked up at the towers and saw how they were just swinging in the wind. And we had a wonderful walk from Battery Park all the way up, and we did, Little Italy, Little Chinatown, Meatpack District. We just did the whole New York part there during one day, and then going back and see that big hole, and it's just it's terrifying to think about.
Yeah. And now, where are you coming from today? Because one thing you need to know about Krister, he's an adventurer. He is currently on this amazing yacht and traveling the world with his wife. This is one of your lifelong dreams, right?
Yeah, it's been a goal for a long time, and it's interesting, all these goals. Right now we are in Portugal. We are just outside Lisbon. We started this summer sailing to London with my stepson and my wife, and so we live close to Oslo in Norway. We sailed to London, across the North Sea, about 5 days sailed up all the Thames, the River Thames, and stay there for 1 month. Actually the marina in London is downtown London. It's next to Tower Bridge. So we had the boat there for about 1 month, and we traveled back and forth to Norway. And then about 10 days ago, we set sail out of London and then to Portugal. So we have been out in the North Atlantic. Those who are familiar with it know that the Bay of Biscay can be pretty rough, and it was. I didn't know that a 14-ton sailboat could be airborne, but it can.
Oh, wow. Okay, there's a learning lesson for you.
Yeah. So we had wonderful days. We had a couple of really rough days, rougher than we expected, but we managed it. And then we finalized it with 2 beautiful sailing days. And now we are in a beautiful small summer town just outside Lisbon. We came here yesterday morning, and we have refueled, bought more food, and then we're going to sail again tomorrow morning.
Now, you have been an international CEO. I mentioned at one point you had 30 different countries. You had an office someplace, big, large, small. Yeah. And yet now you're a mentor and a coach. What made you make that switch?
I love people. I love people more than business. I have this amazing career. I have a master's degrees in management. I had a tremendous year. I was CEO when I was 29 years old. I was president, CEO and president of a big international group, as you mentioned, operating in 30 countries when I was 34. And then I realized that, the more I worked, the higher up I came into, more and more higher up in bigger and bigger companies. I realized that I like people. I like, to discuss with you. I like to talk with people, to help people. And I realized that my management style has all the time been mentoring. I always said that, if I am successful, no, that's not important. We are successful. I want to help you as a part of our team to be successful. When you reach your goals, we reach our goals, and then we are successful. And that is actually exactly the same thing I do as a mentor and coach. I help people being successful in the meaning living the life you really want, living your full life. I say it's not about money. It's not about getting, well, it can be about money. It can be about having a wonderful career, but it's your full life, what you really want to do. And I help people doing that.
Well, and you have a motto that you live by that and really encompasses everything you do, from leadership to mentorship to adventure. Can you share your motto and how that came about?
Well, the model is I've studied for many years. I can go back to there are 4 things that highly successful people do, and this goes back to when I learned that from Bob Proctor when I was a part of his inner circle the last months that he lived, and Bob is a role model for me as well. I was actually, I had birthday 2 days ago, so I was 54, and when I was 50, I said that my next 30 years shall be the best ones, and I just keep rolling that. I don't say 26 years. No, the next 30, the next 30, the next 30 shall be my best. And maybe that is the model I live by. There are 4 things that highly successful people do, which is so easy for everyone to do. Make fast decisions and don't change them. Just say, this I want to do. Then you set high goals. You listen only to people that have done what you really want to do. I often say, don't go to the bank if you want to be a millionaire, because no millionaires work in the bank. It's a joke, but still, it's. And the 4th thing that highly successful people do is that they always study, they always learn, they invest time and money in their own development. Those are the 4 things, and that's the model I follow myself. I started studying personal development when it's about 14, 15 years ago. And I realized that goals are important, and maybe that's the biggest challenge for most people, is that they want something, but they don't know what they want. And I can help you understanding what you really want based on your personality, and all that. But it is so. I realized when we were in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and I was sitting. We have a watch system on board. We were 3 people on board, so we have 4 hours on and 8 hours off. And my watch was from 8 to 12 at night and at day. And I sat there at night, 11 o'clock, and it was so calm, just really calm before the bad weather. And I looked up and looked at all the stars. And then I realized, wow, I reached my goal. One of my goals. Because I set that goal about 13, 14 years ago. I want to sail around the world. And I actually told my wife that when we met. I said, I'm going to sail around the world. So if we shall be together, you have to join me, because that's like a no-go not to go. And one of the things that I visualized was to sit alone in the Atlantic Ocean, looking up and looking at all the stars. And I had forgotten about that. But when I was there, when I was in the goal, I got tears in my eyes. I said, yeah, I'm there. This is cool. I like who I've become to get to that goal.
Well, part of what's wired in you, and part of the reason I think you and I connect, is we're both dreamers, but you're a dreamer that helps other people dream the impossible dream, don't you?
Yeah. And people think it's impossible. And people say to me, I cannot tell you. I often ask prospects when I help people, I have like strategy calls. I say, what do you dream about? What's the dream day? What's your dream life? I cannot tell you that. I said, why not? I mean, I have crazy dreams. And it goes back to number 3 on my list. You listen only to people that have done what you really want to do yourself. You have to jump. You have to do it. I had a strategy call with a guy this morning, and he wants freedom. And I said, number 3, you shall only listen to others that have done what you really want. Right now, I'm sitting on the foredeck of my boat in Portugal talking to you. And I work
then
from
you can
here.
check
And
your
I'm
mark
gonna
off there. You've done well.
And he said, yeah, you do it. Okay. And that was he bought it. And I said, you have to do it. And that's my main message, is that it's back to Walt Disney. If you can dream it, you can do it.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's Bob Proctor. If you can keep it in your mind, you can have it in your hand, Bob said. And it's so true. It's so true. All you have to do is be daring, but different. Be daring, meaning that you have to dare. Freedom takes courage. So you have to dare, because freedom is an attitude. Freedom is not something you have. It's not something you buy. Freedom is an attitude. Be daring, be different. Don't follow the stream. Be the one that goes against the stream, against all people. Instead of swimming upstream, go downstream in the river. Everyone thinks that you have to work hard to be successful. No, you don't. You can do it effortless. Of course, there are times that are scary, that are painful, that are where you wonder if you're on the right track. But then when you work the right way and focus on what you want, not how, then it gets to you. I have an amazing example of that. We were actually struggling a little bit on the trip over here because we had bad weather and we couldn't sail so much, and we were running low on fuel. And there is a very special thing going on the coastline now, because there are three families of orcas, free willy orcas, that bite the rudder of sailboats. And they have done that for 3-4 years, meaning that you cannot, if you are in emergency, you have to kind of, and we were not in emergency at all, but it was a stress element. We cannot go to the first town, we have to go further. And one morning I said, okay, I cannot be scared, because I'm scared, just like everyone else. I have this responsibility for the boat and the people on board and everything. And I really felt it in my stomach. And I looked up and I said, now, if there is one time I really need help now. And this idea came back to me. You have everything you need. You have everything you need. And it goes back to your spiritual DNA is perfect. You have everything you need inside. And I said, of course, I have a sailboat. Let's sail that. And we have the most wonderful day out on sea sailing. You have everything you need was the idea that came to my mind. Because I opened up. I didn't focus on the problem. I focused on the solution. And then the idea came.
So with everything you're experiencing, you're living life lessons every day. Just like you're living life, but learning through life. When you get a new prospective client and they reach out and they say, I want to dream, I want to do, in our heads, we think we know what we're saying, but how do you help them break free from the emotional, mental history of life restraints? Because you have to break free of stuff to go where you go, right?
I tell them my goals.
Is that where it starts? Really, by you modeling it, by you sharing your life with them, it helps them to break free?
Yeah, and we go back to the 4 things that highly successful people do. Make fast decisions, don't regret it. Set high goals. Can be crazy. And there is only one reason for setting a goal. I want it. It doesn't matter whatever other people say. I want it. I want to do this, then do it. And then listen only to people that have done what you want yourself, and invest time and money in yourself. But the point is that you have to have this confidence and say that I had everything. I had this amazing career. I had all the things. I have houses, cars, everything. And I just I wanted something more. I wanted something else. I wanted to help people, and that's my true heart desire.
Is there freedom in that? Is there freedom in just letting go and going for the wild, the crazy, the unreachable, the people say? Is there freedom in jumping on board and going for it?
Yeah, there is. And freedom is an attitude. It's something you feel inside. You can, it is it's an attitude, and the people, we are taught that we shall be rational. And we are not rational at all. We are beautiful emotional beings. Yes. We are wonderful emotional beings. And I often say, there are 40,000 brain cells in your heart. And people say, huh? Yeah, there are 40,000 brain cells in your heart. Your heart sends out 5,000 times more energy than your brain. And then in the Bible, God, it's written, before you speak, I will hear you. So it's about what I think and feel. It's about what you feel. It's all about what you feel. What you think affects your feelings. Your feeling affects your actions, and your actions create your life. It's that easy. And that is how I explain law of attraction. People say, well, law of attraction is that you think. No, you don't. You feel. You think it, you feel it, and you do it. It's think and act. And that's the model. It's so simple. the most scary part is that you actually have to dare it. That's why my book is called Be Daring, Be Different. You have to be one of those going the other way. And people will say, but that is so selfish. Yeah, you can say I'm selfish. I am so selfish because I love you so much. Because the more I am, and that's from Abraham Hicks, it's a wonderful, wonderful saying. I am so selfish because I love you so much. The more I am of the true me, the more I am to love, and the more I love you. And it's a beautiful message. It's yeah, but we have to kind of reprogram. We have to I call it reverse engineering. Look at life upside down. We are emotional. We are not rational. We are emotional beings making emotional decisions, and then we rationalize it because we have been taught that we have to be rational. And I disagree. I am so irrational.
Well, again, the shortest but longest journey in all the world is the head to the heart.
Yes.
And you literally are working with people to change head to heart and make the heart pump faster, grow, and really jump out, because we do express from the heart, but we're thinking too darn hard, aren't we?
Yeah, we are thinking about the how, and when we're thinking about the how, then we limit ourselves, because the universe is so full of possibilities. And when we think about only how, okay, I want this, and how can I get it? Don't think about the how, I say, because the how will come to you through ideas. I often ask clients, where do all these ideas come from? And they don't know. I say one thing is our thoughts, they come from our brain, and our feelings are in our heart, and then the actions is through the body. But where do all these ideas come from? Isn't that interesting? For me, I don't know. They just pop up. It's like the idea I had this morning when I was frustrated, tired, and everything, and the idea was, you have everything you need. Wow, I do. Open my eyes, not focus on the problem, focus on the solution. I want to have an amazing journey taking this boat safely into harbor. That was my goal. I visualized us docking, and then you have everything you need. I looked up and said, thank you. And I think people should do more of that. When wonderful things happen, be grateful. Start every day being grateful. It's such a game changer in life. You know, if you hate your neighbor, send him love. Find something you like. You know, every day, be grateful. I write down 10 things every morning that I'm happy and grateful for. I haven't done that in the storm. I haven't, but I have been so grateful for the bad weather, because that tells me how much I appreciate the nice weather.
Well, and again, you're achieving when your dreams, when your goals, you're out in the open sea, you're doing it. Christopher Johnen, again, he's traveling the world, and we're not done with it, Christopher. We're going to have another visit later on this month. And coming up next month, we will have the premiere, the book launch party of his upcoming book release. So you're going to see Christopher a little bit more with Rock the Stage and all the streaming content that we do. Christopher, final comments. What's the best advice you could give today, right where you're at?
Be daring, be different. Think about what you want, and be daring. You know, visualize what you really want. Feel it. Feel the joy of doing it. My mental picture was, for more than 10 years, standing on the foredeck of a beautiful boat, leaving hometown, going sailing around the world. That kept me going for 10 years, that picture. It took a long time to realize it, but never give up your dream.
Christopher Johnen, thank you very much for the insights. And again, he's reaching it. He's in the boat. He's sailing. We've had several conversations, and they're all in different ports, different locations, different satellites, but he's living and daring to be different. We're going to have more with the Christopher coming up this month. And again, you're all going to be invited to come and hear him talk and celebrate the premiere of the Dare to Be Different book. But we'll give you more information on that coming out soon. That's going to do it for today. I'm the Trigger, Rich Bontrager. We'll come back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, where we help you shine on camera, shine on stage, and surprise you with amazing guests from around the world at 2 p.m. with the Trigger. We'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time live.